Hi everybody, I'm Will. In this session, I've got 3 things for you. We're going to look at some of the good and bad of AI. I'm going to do a demo of how I use AI with business intelligence, and then we're going to answer this question. And at the end, I'm going to share some of my resources so you can go and replicate my demos with your own data at home. Now, this is a very contentious topic for me. I really enjoy business intelligence. It's been a career that I've somehow landed in. I remember looking back at some of those books, the infographic books, like Information is Beautiful, thought, oh, wow, this stuff is great. This is cool. And I managed to land myself in a job doing this stuff, and I really enjoy it. I was really grateful, like in my time, I've got to spend 5 years with the BBC with some very talented people that helped me on my journey. But for me, the real happening point for me in my career was this year. This is when I received an invite to Tableau's Iron Viz competition. And what it says is, oh, we want you to come to Vegas. Oh, that sounds good. We want you to build a dashboard on stage in 20 minutes in front of 5,000 people. I was like, oh, that was a lot, but I put the effort in. Like, I wanted to show off like visualizations, what I love about the field, and I was really thankful to come back with the win. You can see my partner Mark there as well. Like, really super happy. He's my support throughout the entire event. So super pleased for the win. But I felt really in a good place here. I thought, I've really set myself up for a nice long career of like building dashboards, building visualizations, what I love to do. How wrong I was. Only a few months later, ChatGPT started coming out, and already you could sort of sense a change. A few months later, so people sort of think, oh, actually, this AI stuff is really smart. And it didn't take too long to think, well, actually, it could probably take our jobs. And then they expanded on that. It was not going to take our jobs, but our lives as well. And I was looking at this, and I was thinking, well, what's going to happen to my career? What's happened to anybody else in my position with all this going on? So I set off to go and investigate what was going on in the industry. So I started off doing little projects with ChatGPT, so working with data analytics. I then set up a user group for AI with Tableau. And through that, I was able to go on the inside. So I actually joined Tableau developers to go and work on a project of connecting AI to business intelligence. And through those topics, I've learned a few things that I wanted to share. So one of the things I find is that AI has a bit of an image crisis going on at the moment. So science fiction would tell you that this is correct. Like, hey, AI is super smart, it knows everything. It's already worked it out before you've even asked what to do. It's going to do anything. It's going to be better with AI. And working with it, I saw that's simply not the case. The large language models we're working with don't quite live up to the hype there. And in certain cases, like burning questions that you might have, like this one. Obviously, I think of any journalists or anything, this is something hot on their minds at the moment. But what this is a weird loophole. Oh, the GIF's already running. I'm sorry about that. But this is being patched by ChatGPT today, I believe. But in 5.1, if you were to go and ask this query, it goes a bit wild. And you'll see it happen from the beginning in a sec. So I can ask the query, and then it says, yeah, there's a seahorse emoji. No, it's a unicorn. Actually, it's a horse. It's a coral reef. It's a mermaid. It's sort of stuck in this weird loop of, yes, there is, but I couldn't find it. I'll try again. It's really fun to do. And the issue with this is, or why this happens, is down to this. So someone on Reddit has gone and posted up, oh, do you remember the seahorse emoji? And like they have this idea of what it used to look like. So ChatGPT's read this, believes there's a seahorse emoji, and then will keep trying to find it. What this says to me is like AI is these large language models are very easy to poison and send off on the wrong direction. So if you, for example, put another post on Reddit about your favorite functions that you like to use in whatever system you're using, they're going to get recommended at some point in the future. That's not great. One too many. Has anyone had this come back from an AI before? Yeah. There's a sort of design of large language systems where it's in the product where they want to please you. They want to like serve and like want you to use them more and more. And so they're easy to agree with you. You also find that they don't really tell you what you need to hear. They tell you what you want to hear, right? And this is terrible when it comes to like data analytics and telling a fair story. I couldn't imagine a journalist using, say, ChatGPT to write a data analytics sort of story without getting the full picture from the actual analysis. So if you had an idea in mind, a story you wanted to tell, you can easily twist the numbers to make that happen, and I'm sure the AI would oblige in that as well. So a couple of issues there, but I do see some good things of where AI works really nicely at the moment. So this is an example. I've just given it my CV and just asked it, can you go and fill in the blanks here? And it can do that consistently, so time again. We've paid millions of dollars to have someone go and fill in the blanks for us. It's great. But what this enables is, if you take this a step further, instead of just filling in the text here, you could fill in, say, functions, like arguments that you go and put in a function or an API call. And so that becomes quite powerful in terms of what applications you can build from this. So I wanted to talk about MCP. I know it's been mentioned a few other talks, but Model Context Protocol. Effectively, you can think of this as a set of tools to help your AI model chat to your business intelligence system. The nice thing about this is very flexible, so depending what AI model provider you're with, or if you're running a local model, you can use those to integrate with the MCP to go and chat to there. What these tools do is just provide a consistent way to get information back. So this might be querying things like your data sources, getting all the visualization content you have back from that system. How this works, sort of quite simply, is your user will come and ask a query. We'll then go over to the AI model. AI model is not going to think, oh, what do I know about this? What on my raw intelligence do I know? No, it's not going to do that. It's going to say, okay, what tools do I have that could go and answer this question? That tool will run. The result will be passed back to the AI and then back to the user. For which we're going to have a little demo. So I'm in Claude. I like Claude. They made MCP, so obviously good friends of mine. I've connected up Tableau here. So I can go and chat with this. So I can say things like, what data do we have on Tableau? Okay. Yeah, so what we can see here is now actually running a tool. So it's going to search for content, and it's already started making some stuff for us. But you can see here, this is this tool here, search content. We click into this, you can see what's going on. So if you work with Tableau, this is just running an API call to bring back the metadata about what data sources are there. So it brings back this horrible sort of JSON block that then gets nicely formatted here in this little application here. Okay, tons of stuff on here. I know there's one on broadcasters, so let's go and have a look at that. Hey, in UK broadcasters. Okay, so I'm just going to ask it to do a simple query. So it's got to go and find the UK broadcasters data source, and then go and tell me about a program, find the top program in there. So we can see it working away. First one it does is get data source metadata. What this will do is bring back the column information. So from the earlier query, it knows the ID of the data source. It's then looking here. I've added in a little description that helps bring in some business logic to this. Later on, you also see the column fields come back. So when it's constructing the next query, it knows the columns I've got in that data source. You can then see this query. So it's querying that data source. This is like an API call. You don't need to worry too much about what's going on here, but you can still see it's picking program name, it's picking like the broadcast date and the max viewers. the total of viewers here, and then doing a max aggregation there. Okay, and it's come back and it's found me Gavin and Stacey. Fantastic. Okay, so like a simple query. This doesn't really feel like the age of AI, does it? You know, it's one thing there. Now, if I think back in my time at the BBC, I could get it to try and do some of my job for me. Say, okay, so I've taken on a role back as a BBC researcher, and asking one of the hot topics was like, how do we better serve these younger audiences? We call them underserved, these sort of under 35s, and then have a bit of comparison to what other people in the market are doing. So you'll notice with this query, I haven't told it like the metric I want or anything like this. If I jump back into here, you can see what's going on. So instead of running one query, it's actually running several queries in this little chain to do basically some exploratory analysis for me. So this is going to churn away for a little while and then come back with a little report for me in a bit. Now, obviously, I just gave it one prompt here, and I'm not entirely sure how far it's going to go in terms of the analysis. So you can see it's already done quite a lot. Oh, wow, it's really going in depth if it's going into this. Okay, there we go. So this is our new plan. Obviously, I will say that this data is sort of fake-ish data, so I've taken it from like the Barb data source and then just brought it up to modern times and added a few extra fields. So don't read anything in this. You know, if I was back in my stockbroking days, this is not financial advice. Don't make any actions on this. Okay, yeah, as you know, sort of AI likes to make as much content as possible at times. Likes to be very chatty. Yeah, issues on like lowest youngest viewers. ITV is really good at entertainment for younger audiences. Netflix is good too. The gaps. So you can see here is effectively highlighted. Is querying that data source to actually bring together like a piece of exploratory analysis for me. You also get these things at the end, the recommendations. Now that's Anthropic being Anthropic and saying, like, if you're in the BBC, you know this is probably not the easiest thing to implement in the short term, or what short term means in this case. But you can see effectively, like, I can just come up with an idea or something and get some exploratory analysis going with this. Now we can take this one step further. So rather than being in Claude as my interface, I could go and actually be back in my hometown of a Tableau dashboard. All right, so this is my little dashboard that I've gone and made about peak viewers across time. So I've got all my breakdowns here. But as a chart designer, there's only so much space on the screen to fit things in. So I could actually bring in the AI as a little agent in the dashboard. What I've done here is I've customized things a bit more. So I can actually make it aware of the content in the dashboard. So you can see I've clicked here for this program. It's brought this in. It's aware of this program. And I can ask questions on this. So what was... So I can ask it something like this. I don't need to get the spelling right, things like this. It's going to connect over to Tableau and come back with a response in a sec. So what I've done here in terms of the customization part is you can see I didn't need to go and say, oh, can you list the data sources? Can you go into this data source and click that? what I've done is I've locked down the tool so it only has access to this data source here, and it knows which one I'm using here. So really it doesn't have many tools to use in this case, because I just wanted to chat with this. It's kind of weird if you're in one data source and then it started chatting to another data source. It might get a bit confusing. But you can see here it's come back with some results in terms of what else was going on. So this is not a chart that I've put in here, but it saves me. If I was, say, the analyst here, I'd be getting pinged on Slack by a researcher asking these questions. They can now go and answer these ad hoc analysis here. And similar to Claude, I can actually go and show what's going on behind the scenes in terms of that API call and the result coming back. Now you can lock this down a bit further, so I could ask it things like, what is the capital of Switzerland? So, okay, so something that like a user query might come in, not something that I would typically answer with this data source. And it says, I don't know. So it will tell you, it'll put some guardrails in here to say, I don't know. I'm only here to tell you about audience data from this data source. So no, effectively I can put some guardrails there to do this. Now, one of the nice things, like extras of implementing this, is that you can actually get the logs from this. I saw it mentioned yesterday, but you have a system called Langfuse. Let's just go and see if we can see our last one. Yeah, so I can see that my content's come back here. So this is our query. Go in here. So you can actually see what's gone on with your users interacting with the AI. Okay, so I get things like here like token usage. I get the cost using, so this is using ChatGPT, but I can also see the tools in the model. But the nice thing is I actually get to see the questions they've been asking and how they get answered. So for me, I haven't put together like a view of the schedule or anything like that. But if I was getting a lot of requests for this, maybe I would. That might be an idea. I can see the response. I can also see that context from the dashboard coming in as well. Okay, so a nice way that you can sort of justify how it's being used, what it's being used for, and build better products from there. Okay, so that's some of the nice stuff about AI I'm seeing at the moment. But where is it going from here? So we started off with this LLM, but what I've been showing you is a few extras that keep getting added on, this new sort of infrastructure that keeps getting built on. So everything in orange you just saw. This is not a complete list. There's more and more I see added every single day. But where's this going? So this is, for my world, is going from more like the AI providing advice, like moving away from advice to more actually producing the content. So you can see I could chat, get data back, get tables of information, but it's not far away from where we're actually just creating the content itself. And this is really strange, like brings me back to this question, sort of a pivotal point of like, is this the end? And this is what I think. Okay. Yeah, probably not what you would expect from someone working in business intelligence to say. And like, obviously, things like charts are still going to be around. That's a very efficient way to read data. If you let it, what I'm trying to say here is there's a huge value proposition going on at the moment of like, what's the value add of business intelligence if I can write a prompt and get everything I want in one go? And we're not the only industry that's been through this before. So if you think of photographers, like everybody has like an iPhone or whatever with like all the camera they need on there. Like you don't need to know about shutter speeds or ISOs, you know, that's all done for you. But this industry has gone through the same problem before us, and you still hire photographers for certain purposes. So you would hire them for the moments that matter. So things like weddings here, I don't think like my nan with a camera could really capture my wife's joy of dressing me up in Malaysian traditional gear. People said I look like Aladdin, go as far as that. But you can see that they've really delved into that niche a bit more, being like an expert of really capturing that moment. Or they've done the expanded services where they don't just do photography, they'll do the whole event planning, so coordination, that side of things. So they have changed their business model in the sense that everyone now can do what they do. But I see some other themes coming up with business intelligence. So this is sort of like if trying to describe this of how like you would deliver a dashboard today. So say if I was to deliver a dashboard, it might take a week by the X on the screen, sort of a trade-off between speed and quality. With the assumption that AI is going to make everything faster, okay, so this line gets moved a bit to the left. So, okay, it might be like 2 days quicker, but is that enough? Like, it's a cultural thing. Does your organization want it faster than this? And it's a very slippery slope that you then start going down into this world of just very low value content just produced. Are you sort of, this is more like fighting fires than any kind of alignment or leadership around where we should be going as an organization if you're just producing numbers for the sake of it. And you get back into that world of people are producing numbers to stake their own claim or like their own biases in the company of what they should be doing. So this I find is like a very like poor place to like try and say there's value in business intelligence if you're just fighting fires. Instead, could you take the time that you've saved and actually try and reinvest it to make something better? I see so many times like a stack of backlog and requirements. It's like, could you not just take the time to try and expand what you've got to meet other requirements? Or say you want to future-proof it, you want to go and put a chatbot in a dashboard to help you get there. So this is sort of the cultural trade-off that I would be arguing for, of like, can we just make things better rather than just trying to make more low-value work? The other side is something that's really like interesting that I thought of was if I can make, say, Tableau with a prompt, okay, I can also make, say, another dashboard in a different technology with a prompt. The same tools that I would use to make the dashboard, you can reverse engineer and tell you, well, how did you make it? And then guess what? I can go put that back in the prompt. And so I can now freely switch between different product providers. So before we've had like huge migration projects of one provider to another, and it's been very much a case of you would pick one or the other. But now I feel the barriers of moving are coming down more and more here. And I've seen this, so this is not just in the visualization world. We've been doing this in the ETL world as well. So you can actually, if you've done this with code, it's very much like, oh, I can turn SQL to Python, no problem. But now these products are coming under threat. And lastly, it's kind of a weird transition we've been on, where I think there's always saying this is going to be the end of things. Oh, that was quick. So we had Excel files in the world where like one person owned all the calcs in it. They were the guru of the spreadsheet. Then in came the dashboard. Suddenly like, hey, more people can actually understand the data, have a visibility of what's going on, some alignment around that. There was always like killing off the spreadsheets, and spreadsheets don't die. Kind of like cockroaches. Once you've got them, you can't get rid of them, eh? And now we're hearing a lot of this about, oh, dashboards are dead, we're just going to replace everything with an AI chatbot. And I think this would drive you insane. Like, honestly, if you imagine, like, if you're driving in your car and you remove the entire front console and replaced it with an AI chatbot, you'd be like, you'd have to prompt every time, so what speed am I doing? How much fuel have I got left? Is there a warning light on the dashboard? Don't know. So I think they all have their own benefits and like use cases here. So I can easily get this information from a dashboard. If I want to make something more dynamic, sort of some ad hoc work, I've got a chatbot there as well. And yeah, some people just want Excel at some points. Okay, sort of the closing point on this is really this sort of statement where you can see that if you can connect, if a stakeholder can go and use an AI to connect up to your underlying data sources, they can effectively like bypass the business intelligence team. Like I've been the one sort of serving them, helping them, producing like content for them to go and use. But with the AI involved, if I don't have visibility of this, I don't know what's going on. I have like no touch with what that stakeholder is doing, what they want. I have no idea if that's good or not, what they're getting out. And so I lose touch with the business and all of this. So I really advise these analysts to think about migrating what you can do in terms of AI and owning that space for your organizations. Okay, thank you for your time. yeah, I wanted to close with some resources from everything you've seen today. So this QR code will take you to like a blog page with all the articles I've written, highlighting just this one here, where you can actually go and build out the demos I've shown you today. It comes with code on GitHub, freely available. It comes with video guides of how to go and do it, where I go and show you everything there as well. But yeah, thank you.